A recent study by the Conference Board shows CEO confidence has dropped sharply. More and more business leaders prepared for slower economic growth and potentially job cuts too. So joining us this afternoon to talk more about how workers can try to protect themselves now is money and business expert Derrick Kinney. Derrick, thanks so much for being with us here on this Friday.
My pleasure, Jason. Great to see you.
Good to see you too. I wish it was under better circumstances, but we have to talk about these things. When the CEOs start talking about being worried about what's ahead, we do need to pay attention for sure. You say that the first step that people should be taking is to update their resume. I mean, obviously we're not trying to panic anybody, but it really is good to keep that thing updated. Can you talk about why that's so important?
Well, what I want to do is I want to throw out all of the old rules when it comes to resumes. There's a new game in town, and that is nobody cares about you're the seasoned professional, 20 years of experience, and you've got a 10-page resume. All people want to know is, can you help me make money, save money, and grow my business? And so every resume has to have, this is without excuse, a cover letter custom tailored for the position. Jason, for example, if you're hiring and I'm forcing you to figure out how I could fit into your company, I lose. But if a cover letter says, here's how I can help you and your company make money, save money, be more productive, it fills in the gaps and you're likely to get that first interview, which is the key to your next best job.
All right, so throw out that boilerplate language and maybe start personalizing some of these a little bit more for the individual jobs there. You also, though, Derrick, recommend that people improve their skills and, you know, that stuff can be put on a resume when you get it done, especially, you say, with tools like ChatGPT and Claude, those other AI platforms, and communication skills. Can you talk about the importance of that, especially right now?
And you can even use Claude and Chat to help you craft that cover letter. But the bottom line is you want to at least be fluent in AI. If you're 50, 60, you're going back into the workforce or you're changing jobs, the last thing you want to be called is irrelevant. And so you want to have a practical working knowledge. And the best way to do this is ask your kids, ask your grandkids, but just practice doing searches. Practice using AI to do your normal daily functions, and it's going to open your eyes to this entire new world. This is not going away, but the people who can adapt it and use it as a tool will likely be in demand for many years to come.
Okay, so just in case, you know, what these CEOs are worried about right now comes to fruition and things do slow down, maybe they have to make some cuts, you're telling people that they should be taking a close look right now at what their cash reserves are looking like, as well as looking at their budget, something that, you know, a lot of us might not do on a really normal basis like we should. What's the best way that you would suggest that people do that?
And just to make this super simple, Jason, let's assume that your boss came and said, look, we've got to cut your salary by 10%. What would you do? Well, suddenly you have to cut. And just like the government, well, that's probably not a good example of cutting there, but normal companies, for example, you find a way to cut. So you look at subscriptions, anything that's optional, not required, and suddenly you find a way to do it. So play the game. Sit down with your spouse, your partner, and say, if we had to cut 10%, what would it look like? And including in advance of that, that can really help you save money and get prepared if something were to happen.
There's a lot of ways that people can prepare themselves for the possibility of losing their job. What would you say might be the biggest mistake that people make when they are worried about that?
Jason, this might sound crazy to our viewers, but it's very effective. Open communication with your boss. For example, letting your boss know, hey, I like working here, but I'm kind of concerned. Are there possible layoffs or changes down the road that I need to be aware of? You see, when you have open communication, now you know what's happening. The worst thing is bury your head in the sand, hope everything works out okay, and often you're the one left holding the bag. If you know some news now, you can prepare for the future. The goal is not to panic and take the next job you have to take. You want to make the next job your next best job and even make more money than you were right now.
Okay, so open communication with the boss. Hopefully they shoot straight with you. Maybe try to make that relationship, you know, a frequent, you know, back and forth instead of only approaching them when you're asking them about things like this. Derrick, thanks so much for this really helpful info, especially in these times.
My pleasure. Thank you, Jason.
Thanks.